All right.
Okay, boom. It said we live. So let's just give it a second here.
All right.
One of y'all want to check it?
It came
Yeah, I
up
got
on
it.
mine.
Yeah, I got it.
I got it.
You check YouTube, Ben?
I didn't check YouTube. Well, YouTube, I just got a notification.
Okay.
Facebook got
And
notification. YouTube got you
Yeah.
notification. All right.
Where is slow man? Slow man. There you go. There go slow man River.
Slow man. Yeah, that's him.
One of y'all keep up with the people in Facebook. Don't share from Facebook Live, so we can kind of just see where everybody kind of go like that. So y'all keep up who in there. So if they don't comment, all right.
You said don't share it.
No, so
You
don't
said
watch. Don't watch.
We're doing a
Party.
watch party.
Don't do a watch.
Oh,
party.
yeah. I don't never do that. Okay, I got you.
So, okay, so turn your phone down. Let's go and get it.
Yeah, I got it on mute. Yeah.
All right, your boy Vern already in here talking. All right, hold on.
Like
All
always.
right. Let's get that banner up in there. Boom. All righty. Sorry for the technical delays. Hope all y'all doing well today. Welcome to Down South Football Podcast. We have a couple of special guests, as y'all can see tonight. We already have a fifth member in here. This is your boy Renard Williams. Of course, we have David. We have Mr. Chauncey Tuck, and we have Mr. DJ Double Dose, aka Ben Dennis, in the house. We have a special guest that's been with us before. This is
up and up. Boom.
who is that?
That you good. You good.
Oh, okay. We have Coach Teddy Keaton. This guy's like a brother to me, and he's a great head coach. He is currently the head coach of Allen University. And Teddy, first of all, I want to tell you congratulations, sir, on your move from NAIA to Division II. I had no doubts that you would get the program to where it needs to be. And all I'm expecting just some great things from you, man. And we just wanted to talk to you for a few minutes today, really about a lot of things that's going on with what I like to call the resurgence of HBCUs, and people talking about it, and people really just want to know more about it, and what the culture that we got going on right now, and just the social climate that we're in that seems to be pushing a lot of younger kids that are really opening their eyes to HBCUs. I've heard you speak on this before. If you could just speak on a little bit and tell us how you feel about it right now.
Well, obviously, as a head coach and a product of an HBCU, I feel I'm elated about the situation. It's a couple guys that have, really made me like, you got 5-star football players that are actually, really thinking about going to an HBCU. The basketball kid who signed, a lot of guys, I haven't paid a lot of attention to it because, as you know, I mean, I've been here 2.5 years and my head has been buried into switching Allen University from NAIA to NCAA, and that is a tedious process. A lot of writing, a lot of the NCAA is made up a bunch of lawyers. So everything that you do, you have to be on top of your game, and when they come to visit you, they have to be able to check your books, your numbers, to make sure everything is where it needs to be. So I think that's where my mind's been, but I have, caught a glimpse of some things from here and there on Twitter, Facebook, and even watching Sports Center and different things like that, just going down and finding things. But I think it's great, but also we have to face a reality too. This wave that we're riding with Black Lives Matter and the social injustice that's going on. Yes, some of the younger kids are picking up on those type things, but until we act upon as alumni and put money back into our schools, fund it, it's still not going to change much because one kid decided to go to the, as I would call it, the A&P instead of going to Publix this week.
Well, that's very true.
I mean, it's just a different background. They build these colleges that's mega millions, money that's going through it, the endorsements that, if they pass this thing about kids getting paid, obviously they're gonna really run back over to the other side of the fence because
True.
obviously, there's more money on that fruit tree than it comes into ours. But I think it's gonna change those mid-level guys, those guys that are 3-star, 2 stars that would normally go sit on the bench at an Alabama will decide I will go play at a Allen or a Southern or Alabama State or those places like that. I just want to see how long the wave will ride. It's kind of like a new fad right now. So
Right.
we'll see if it's a fad or will it really, we really considering Black Lives Matter.
Right. Now, I have another question for you. Since we're talking about everything that's going on with social injustice and everything else, you can't ignore, of course, COVID-19 that's out there. And with you being a head coach, as far as your perspective of, I guess you saw like today, you talking about the MEAC basically canceled their fall sports. Of course, the SEAC did. And, the CIAA is also talking about they're canceling their fall sports. So where are you feeling with your team and as far as a head coach, as far as them being on campus, and are y'all prepared to go ahead and just have the season, or what's your feelings on that subject right there?
No, absolutely not. I do not want to play football. I think you have to put on your family, your father hat, your mom and dad hat. You got to think about you're taking somebody's kid out of their household. When I sit in their household, I'm going to say that I'm going to protect your kid. Obviously, if the world has got 100,000 deaths, over 100,000,
right,
and more than any modern day war,
Mhm.
you can't social distance in football. It's going to be 12 people
Yeah, that's impossible.
in a group. It's impossible. I don't even know why Kirk Herbstreit said something a few months back in May that has pissed every SEC fan off, everybody else in the world that was mad at him, which is going to turn around and he's going to be a genius on down the road somewhere that's going to say he said the right thing. We shouldn't play football. It's a dollar amount that's stuck on this that nobody's looking at the human or the moral perspectives of this. When you talk about Georgia opening up and the mayor of Atlanta said we're gonna wear masks, and we come back and the governor say we're not gonna mandate for nobody to wear no mask. But we're in a hot spot. Can I put a mask on my football player? Well, what can he breathe running with that mask on? Even
Not
with
at all.
the shield that the NFL has put into place, I don't know if that's 100% safe. I read this group called the Long Haulers. There's people, even though they recover from it, they still have symptoms that carry for a long time.
right.
I just had a real good friend of mine to die from COVID-19. Her name Kim Johnson. She's in Tuscaloosa. She died at 41 years old. I love Kim. Kim has been a part of my life since I started working at Park and Recreations when I was in college. To know that she died from COVID-19 further my agenda to say why I shouldn't put my kids out there to play. If I got a lineman that is 6'4", 6'3", 300 pounds, most of those linemen, when they come to camp, they have some type of underlying
Condition.
asthma, PAPs, heart PAPs, whatever, different things with their lungs and breathing. Okay, if he catches COVID-19, what's the chance of him recovering? I don't know. You don't know. The CDC don't know. The governor don't know. The president don't
Right.
know. Nobody knows.
It's so much in the air. You're right.
So I would rather play on the safe card. Some people say it's fear. No, it's not fear. And then let's talk about the aspect of an HBCU. We don't have the funds to
Correct.
be able to set the guidelines that were laid out by the CDC. And with a football team, as I said before, in each position group, there's at least 14 guys in each position group. So how could you social distance? I'm going to take it a step further. When you go to the residence hall and you put them in a room together, let's just say my starting quarterback catches COVID-19. Okay. In most colleges, you put your quarterbacks in the room together. So here comes Saturday, my quarterback comes up with COVID-19 test is positive.
Right.
Now I don't have a quarterback to play quarterback on Saturday. I think that the Division Ones are really starting to look at it differently than it was back when they made that early onset to say we were going to play. Now, as this trend start to come along, you see the Big Ten said something. Everybody stopped talking when Herb Street said what he said because he got ridiculed so bad.
Right.
Now that the Big Ten stepped out and said that we're gonna play only conference games, everybody else now is thinking about that scenario. But here, I'm gonna throw some salt in your mustard here. What about Notre Dame? What about Notre Dame, who plays no conference games?
Right.
No conference game. They would actually lose money because every game that they would play, they would have to pay some FCS team that would come up and take them $20,000 or $30,000 to take that butt whooping. Okay, my next scenario would, if Notre Dame goes undefeated, which they will, do they have a shot at playing in the bowl game?
Yeah.
Well, Swofford, the commissioner, I was gonna say the commissioner Swofford from the ACC. He came out and said that he's going to help Notre Dame as much as possible. So meaning he would give because they already play 6 ACC games anyway. So he pretty much basically saying he'd give them another 2 or 3 to give them that 8 or 9 games to complete their season.
And I believe probably USC would probably let them play, even though Pac-12 has the same rules as far as only conference games. So that's still like 10 games, but they still got, like you said, they still got 2 FCS probably play. And how they look.
Well, the fundamental issue is what he was talking about is just about where we are with the COVID-19, because we all know, and I'm sure Teddy can co-sign on this, that if we wasn't talking about a big financial impact about these schools relying on an athletic budget, that we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
But Bernard, I'll take it a step further. It's not just the schools that's relying on it. There's workers. There's a lot of money with the tourist industry, the hotel industry. Some cities that are small depend on that university bringing them 5 or 6 home games in there. That's going to pay for a lot of things in their city. So if that ball ain't moving out there, you talking about a cash cow? You talking about the peanut man, the vending machine people, everybody that make a little bit of change off the police officers,
and definitely the hotels.
Money. The police officers that make their extra security for being at the game, security companies, everybody, the parking lot people, they're gonna lose a lot of money, and a lot of people could lose their jobs. And the real hit is the TV money, and that's what everybody's trying to get. They want to play the games because the fans want to play the games. And I really don't think that we're human if you say that I'm going to put some kid out there and I got to live with the fact the rest of my life that if one of those kids catch it, they're going to, I'm just saying, God forbid they die. You never live with that. As a coach and with morals, I wouldn't be able to live with that.
Right. I mean, I want to know, like, how is recruiting being from your aspect, like your pitches and to the families and to the kids on how you're dealing with what's going on as far as the COVID-19 stuff? How is recruiting being?
Well, obviously, the high schools think they're invincible. If God got a shield, because recruiting's been going fine. 7-on-7 camps been going. Georgia's starting up football. South Carolina's going to start up football. Alabama's planning on playing football. So all the high schools are really playing football because it's kind of going to be a win-loss situation for those kids. If they don't get to play in the fall, then they're talking about putting it in the spring. It hurts them for their chance to play another sport that they normally would participate in the spring. But if they don't play at all, and let's say they got a guy that's a 5-star on their team that already got all the looks that he was going to get.
Right.
He good. But that guy who just started gaining interest from a university and he hadn't really showed what he needed to show his junior year, now he leaves, his senior year is gone. Now we got to take a chance on it, which would cause him to have to go the junior college route or some smaller school route that he lost out on his opportunity to possibly play for the Power Fives or anybody else that they were possibly take him because technically recruiting starts his 9th and 10th grade year. So a lot of coaches, as much as they think we don't look, when them kids send them, they send you 11th, they 12th graders, they 9th graders, and you might go down and start watching some 9th graders. And then you make a note somewhere, he's 2025. Let's keep an eye on this kid. And when we go to the school, let's talk to him. Let's see. Now, the Power Fives is done a little bit different. They are after him. His 9th grade year, they're watching everything they can watch. They're seeing what they can see. And they got earmarks, and they got enough recruiting personnel to be able to watch those kids all the way through. Now, what it does for HBCUs is that it's going to open a door that we might be able to get a lot of kids that will fall through the cracks simply because there's not enough tape or enough votes around the table to say, I'm going to take interest in this kid and hope that he be good and I lose my job the next year. That makes sense?
Totally.
Well, that makes 100% sense to me. I will say the other thing that I wanted to bring up to you was,
hey Teddy, I got a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
So
he just cut me off. Yeah, he just cut. It's good. Go ahead, Dave. You good?
Go ahead, Dave. It's your show,
Professor.
Go ahead, Dave. Can you hear?
Dave's on a 10-second delay, so.
Dave.
I'll wait till
Dave. No. I think I have I think I have a lag because I said that like I'm on a 10-second delay.
Boom.
There you go. Now look. So I'll just go ahead and finish. So my question was more about the social climate that you talk to with your team. Let's just say you will have a season, or you will have somewhat of a season. What is your approach to talking to your team, which is, I guess I would say predominantly African American, about what's really going on with with the social climate of today? Like, do you have a message or something that you're going to talk to your team about? Is it going to be more of just a real message of saying, hey, this is where we are, this is what it is, or how will you address that? And then we'll get to Dave's question.
Well, what aspect you talking about? We got a lot of things going on. We got a presidential race going on. We got Black Lives Matter that's going on.
Right.
We got COVID-19 that's going on.
Man,
I need you to be a little bit
more.
I need to rein it in just a little bit.
Can I finish my question, please? more just about, I guess we say more of a racial aspect of more Black Lives Matter. A lot of people, there's a lot of, I'll just say it. A lot of your president you have in office right now has brought a lot of people that have been hiding for a long time. You see videos every day of people just feel, empowered to just go up to someone and just say whatever they want to say and do what they want to do. Some things that some kids in this lifetime have had to deal with, some they have not. But you can just focus on Black Lives Matter. Like, for Black Lives Matter, what would be your message to your team?
But the first thing we're going to talk about is, if Black Lives Matter, you got to make your own life matter. So I always tell my kids, you're a product or you're a walking poster board of what the world has an image of you. There's eyes that's looking up to be just like you. So I bring in positive people that talk about black on black crime, that talk about robbing, stealing, doing all the things that cause you to be in trouble with the law. But we also talk to the good kids. There's some kids in there that are truly good kids that don't get in trouble, that may have a run-in. And that's why I bring the police in, because you have to establish a relationship with the police so that our kids, they're naturally afraid of the police. I will not say that it doesn't happen. It happens. It's been proven too many times that it does happen. But the only way you can educate your kids to make them understand, I can't ride around with invalid driver's license. I can't ride around and drink and drive. I learned that real quick when I got to Tuscaloosa and I was 3 days into my job and I got a DUI when a guy could have gave me a pass, but because of who I was, he wanted to make a name for himself. And he did that. So at the end of the day, I tell them, you got to know who you are, who you represent. You represent something bigger than yourself, and you got to make sure that you take care of yourself. At certain times of the hour, your mama told you. Our mama used to say this to us all the time. We was roommates. Because his daddy, Mr. Williams, said it. Ain't nothing open after 12 o'clock but legs in the hospital. So you ain't got no business being out nowhere where you don't need to be at. So if you up late and you're doing things, you ask me how I feel, that's what I talk about. We talk real. We speak truth. We bring situations up. We don't cover them up. We don't sweep them under the rug. We'll talk about the George Floyd situation. We'll talk about everything that happened. The white lady that was in the park who accused the black man who was bird watching. We'll talk about that. I even bring the video up because some of them, our generation of kids that we coach now, don't watch the news. Half of them don't know what's going on. If they don't get it from Twitter or Facebook, they don't know what's going on. So you have to educate them so they'll understand why we fighting for Black Lives Matter.
Okay, hey Dave.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Sir.
I'm back.
Can you
I'm
hear
back.
me?
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Dave.
No,
Go ahead, Dave. David, go ahead. Well, I want you to get your question.
So
in.
Okay. I was going to ask, but I think we kind of moved past it. I apologize for the delay I had, but I was just going to ask Teddy what, because he was talking about having the season pushed to the spring, meaning like some people talking about the college season being pushed to the spring. What do you think would be the advantage of pushing it to the spring versus in the fall? Or
well, what they're thinking about right now, Dave, truthfully, is trying to figure out. I can't hear Dave. Well, Dave, I'm gonna hear you. I'm gonna try to speak to you as much as I can on this. The spring is just a cushion. If I say we can't play in the fall, and the numbers are where they at right now, let's say we hoping by the spring that things clear up. Everybody wants to play college football. Everybody wants to play high school football. So if we have to play it to give those kids, because even us as college coaches, we have kids that are seniors, fifth-year transfer guys. If they miss that season, this is a lost cause for them. Right. So if they had any dreams of going to the NFL, just like a kid who was dreaming to go to college, the NFL is a vision for some of these kids. The CFL is a vision for some of those kids. So we're just trying to keep what we call keep hope alive, that we could possibly still be able to do it. I'm at the table so I can say these things because we talk about them. And I think it has its advantages, but I also, as I stated earlier, has its disadvantages simply because basketball starts in October, November, and then you carry over into March. Okay, for an institution or a high school, you got to think of how much that's going to kill budget-wise, trying to get kids where they got to go, different places. Can I play basketball on Tuesday night when we're not playing, but we got practice for football because we got a game against our rival that weekend? It's a lot of things that's going to cause a lot of confusion unless somebody has to opt out on their season. You got diehard basketball people. You got diehard football people. Both of those sports are revenue-generating sports. So from a college standpoint, it's going to have to be a lot more talk about making that work. But from a high school standpoint, it eliminates the kid being a multi-sport athlete because he's going to have to choose between one or the other.
That's so. I think Dave still had on a little bit of a delay, but I will say everything you're saying 100% is true, and it's definitely going. We got some difficult times ahead in college athletics on all levels. I guess the biggest thing that I was encouraged by was seeing the actual players speaking out, seeing a Chuba Hubbard speaking out about his coach, Kellen Mond speaking out at Texas A&M about the statue. You can't hear? Teddy, can you hear? You can't hear nothing?
I see Teddy.
No, he can't hear.
Okay. Let me see. Teddy, you there now? He can't hear nothing. He said, but y'all can hear, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. I can hear everybody.
Okay.
Can y'all hear me now? Am I back?
Yes, sir.
Here?
Yes, sir. You back?
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear all y'all now. Dave cut me off because he was having a 10-second delay.
Dave is at.
I was gonna say Teddy. Look,
Dave, you got all you wanted out.
Yeah, man. I wanted to kind of touch bases on, and I hate to go backwards, but it was a question that I asked for you earlier in the show. We were talking about.
There you go again.
I don't know what we're gonna do about Dave. But
Just give him a second. Just give him a second. Hold on.
Dave, you got. I don't know what's going on, but I can't hear Dave.
Dave got that Nelly. He got that Nelly connection over
Dave,
there.
you need to get you some.
We're gonna get the AT&T guy
Google
to
Nest.
talk to.
They help with your Wi-Fi. They mesh points. You need to get you a couple of them in your house.
Get you a couple mesh points.
When y'all try to record that Gerald Levert new CD.
Dave, don't you do no verses because your connection is terrible.
Now I'm on you again.
It's Dave's fault. Dave keep putting him in on.
Dave cut me off again.
Yeah. But I can hear
ahead.
you, Ted. Hold on, Ted. I can hear you. You just can't hear me. Dave done cut everybody off again.
He sleep. What are you doing?
I'm gonna put Ted on mute right now, just so you come back. But go ahead, Tuck.
I was just gonna say, I think Dave's in China somewhere to get that 10-second delay. But I think I think Teddy is doing a great job as far as how he's managing his team and how he's managing the situations that have arose or risen within college football. And this is tough. I mean, hell, dealing with just plain old COVID was going to be tough.
Right.
Like he said, now when you add Black Lives Matter and then when you add the presidential race.
I can't hear Tuck. I hear Dave. Dave, you hear me?
Yeah, I hear everybody right now.
I hear everybody. I hear you, Ted.
I just hear you.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So Dave is the problem.
You've always known Dave was a problem. But
yeah.
Hold on, let me see if I can do this.
He don't wave the white flag.
Hey, he don't wave the white flag.
He don't wave the white flag.
Hold on, let me see. I removed Ted. Let me see if I add him back if he can get back in here.
There we go.
I hear you now. That's Renard.
Yeah, what's up? Can you hear me? He can't hear.
So
nothing.
he can't hear Tuck.
What about me? You can't. I know you can't hear me.
I can hear you, Dave.
Well, I feel like y'all connected.
Well, you know what, Dave? Ask your question then. Why is a good connection? Ask your question, Dave.
Yeah, let me hurry up. Okay, so here's my question. We were talking about the kids that will probably go to traditional PWIs now, considering the HBCUs. What do you think about the theory? I had kind of a theory that I think this movement would be more prevalent in basketball than in football, because in basketball, for that one and done kid, it may not really matter because that kid is going to go where he's going to go regardless. Where football, you may have to sit 2, 3, 4 years. So I think the movement or the push is going to be more prevalent in basketball than football.
You're absolutely correct, and we've talked about it from a football standpoint. You're absolutely correct. It's a different mechanism. It's different boundaries. It's just, I think you're right. You're dead on. It's going to be more basketball players than it will be football players. And a kid want to play on ABC, CBS, and ESPN. Black schools play on Revolt, and some channel that's 349 on your TV station. So They don't want to play on that. They want to play on that channel where at 7 o'clock they can be on prime time at 1 o'clock, and it's just what it is. In basketball, like you said, they go out there, they get to play a game. They're going to be the most dominant player on the court. They're going to bring more attention to it. But football, you might get out there and he sit there 2 or 3 years, and they say his skill level, he didn't play against enough quality competition or whatever, and now he loses his chance to be able to go on to the next level. There's a lot of things that's got to happen in the football world in terms of this moolah money. It's got to come into it in order for it to become a more marketable in facilities in itself. I have some nice facilities here at Allen University, but of course, we built them ourselves, but a lot of black schools are outdated. When you go into them, they're very outdated. Kids get looks at bells and whistles now. And when you go in, the gymnasiums usually be nice. Basketball players, if it's a hoop and a rim and a nice floor, they all for that. Besides Alabama State and Perryview and certain other places, the football stadiums are not really just up to par.
Right. Well, look, Teddy, we don't want to hold you.
I can't hear Renard, so
okay. If y'all can hear
Dave,
me,
Dave, tell
What
me.
you say, Dave?
Dave,
Close it out, Dave.
Close it out, Dave.
Well, Teddy, Teddy, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. What Renata trying to say is that we don't want to hold you too long, man. We're gonna let you go on with the rest of your night, and we really appreciate you coming through and hanging out with us once again. We wanted to reach out to you, but we just don't want to take up all your night. But
make sure you hold on. Make sure y'all tell congratulations on this kid, man.
Yeah, he gone.
He gone.
He gone.
Yeah, he gone. He got a newborn.
Okay.
Well,
he really ain't finna get no sleep tonight.
No,
not at all.
He got a newborn at home. But I mean,
there go Dave again.
No. I think he did. I think he did on purpose. I think on.
Okay.
The biggest takeaway that I wanted to, I kind of wanted to just hit on with Teddy was just basically as a head coach of a football team, of a college football team, what was his approach? What did he feel like? What was going on? How he planned on handling everything, and I mean, of course, y'all know I know Teddy personally. That's like a brother to me. But just to hear from his coaching perspective, it's crazy. He said, if it was up to him, he wouldn't know.
And Renaud, I think, I was talking to a lot of people about that.
Hold on one second. Hold on, Ben. Hold on 1 second. We waiting on Jordan, so just give us 1 second. We wait on our second guest for the night. So hold on 1 second. But go ahead and finish, Ben. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if it wasn't for the financial aspect, like you said, they would have canceled this thing months ago. They would have just said it's a wrap, it's done. Me personally, that spring thing, like Teddy was saying, it's too much complications when you're trying to say push it to the spring, because he was speaking on it more so from the high school standpoint. But when you look at it from the guys that's juniors and seniors right now that's in college, they got draft grade. They know they got draft grades, like your Trevor Lawrences or your Marvin Wilsons. And you know what I'm saying? You got guys that already know that they are first and second rounders. If you push this to the spring, them guys aren't going to play, because the NFL pretty much said that they're not going to adjust what they do. The draft is still going to be at the end of April. OTAs is still going to start in late May, first part of June. So why would you put the wear and tear on your body in February to April and then think you're going to turn around and be ready to play again in June?
Well, go ahead, Tuck. Go ahead. No, you good. Go ahead, Tuck. Go ahead.
Oh, all I'm going to say, that's where the disconnect is going to come if they decide to play football in the spring. Okay, so and my theory is you'll start in March, maybe
late February, March.
Okay, so we'll run. If you do want to run a full tilt schedule, you're probably looking at ending in May, maybe May or June. Then what you gonna do then? What you gonna do then? Because then you got to get back to spring football. I mean, that's spring football, because that's canceled. So you got to get the boys back on campus back in July and the beginning of August to turn right back around and do another season.
Nah.
Well, I just don't think there's gonna be a season. But I mean, I just
to me, that's a bit. Either you do it on time like normal, or you don't have it at all. Because that spring thing.
Well, you talk about. I'm not even gonna go with the thing of doing it on time. Here's where I am, because Lord knows I hear it enough and I'm listening enough to it. It's to me, it's not about the on time as more as it is getting it in the fall, in January, and even you might roll into early February just because of the way the NFL is. But if you're talking about doing it in the spring, and this is what I want everybody to understand. Anything and everything you know about college football, anything and everything you know about sports for the last 20, 30 years, just throw it the hell out the window and don't go by that. We are not in any shape, form, or fashion thinking that, we're going to have this season. They're going to try to, if it's an 8-game season, they're going to try to get an 8-game season in. If it's a 6-game season, they're going to try to get it in, because now there's two sides of it. Of course, there's the safety side. The safety side is basically when you're talking about, with COVID-19 and everything that's going on. But then the financial impact. And when I say the financial impact, we're talking about the economic trickle down. Just like Teddy was talking about. Like, I don't think people really understand that colleges are a business. Colleges are not like K through 12 where they have government funding and this and that and this. Colleges are here for a profit. We are here to make money. Right. If you take a Alabama and Auburn and you take away their revenue to a school, you already see schools like the University of Akron that are dissolving half of their majors, closing their schools. And this is a D1 school. They're a MAC school, but they're a D1 school. So if you're thinking about how that affects, and think about the D2 and the D3 schools, the D2 schools right. especially, when you got the CIAA and you got the SEAC and most of your black schools are Division II schools. If you got Division I Group of 5 schools closing down stuff, canceling athletics, Stanford canceling 11 of their 23 scholarship sports, what do you think is going to happen when they don't get that revenue in? With college football, D1 Power 5 football is a $5 billion impact.
Right. And that's I hate to say it this way, but dealing with what Alan Green did, it's kind of looking like he made cuts across the board of 10%. I think that's how much it was. He did 10% across the board. He saved a lot of money by doing that. And a lot of his sports may be able to be saved due to the cuts that he made last year. But like you said, it's going to be a lot of universities that's going to suffer because football was your moneymaker. No way, you can't explain it. Basketball can make some people money, but not a lot. Football was your moneymaker. I don't care if it was North Carolina or Duke. North Carolina Duke still had people coming to their football games, and you still had people getting their money. So
it's definitely it's
going to be interesting.
It's such a big, like I said, it's such a big trickle down effect. It's not so much about we got to get these kids out here. Now, if you stepping back from afar, that's what it looks like. But you have to understand, if there's no students on campus, there's no fees being paid, there's no dorms being filled. All this stuff. College is a business. That does not mean that I'm saying that put these kids out there at any means necessary. I'm saying that they're going to do whatever it takes to try to get some type of this money, whether it's the TV money or everything else, because without that, these colleges, these schools can't function. They're going to close. They're going to be a lot of things that you're used to having in college that you're not going to have. Now, the problem is, if I post a lot, I'll say things like, you pay attention. Why I tell people to pay attention is because the reason why the SEAC and the reason why the CIAA and the reason why the MEAC are closing is not because they want to, but it's not. It's part of the testing. How much? Think about how many times you've seen LSU, Clemson, Alabama, Auburn, Ohio State. How many tests are they pumping out? They pumping out 300-400 tests, and sometimes they're doing it twice a week.
Right.
And them schools can't afford that.
They don't for that. Certain schools can't afford this.
They can't afford it.
I mean, it's trippy. It's going to be trippy. Unfortunately, I don't think it'll, like you said, hurt the big schools, but these small schools, they're going to have to. I mean, even the Ivy Leagues, they got money just because of their endowment, but they're not going to pay for that.
But, you know what I'm saying? Moving to the spring. So it's like, and I beg of anybody that's listening, or anybody you talk to, please understand, like I said a few minutes ago, take everything that you ever heard, everything that you ever know about college athletics and throw it out the window, because we're at that point right now. Look where we are in the world. We don't have leadership. We don't have leadership in the country. We don't have leadership at the state level. We don't have leadership anywhere. They got school systems out here that are on their own. You got teachers that are posting every day talking about how scared they are. You playing with people's lives. So it's like when you're talking about this with money, it seems insignificant, but it's gonna be crazy if some of these other stuff don't happen, man. But anyway, off of that, we have our Dave don't feel like again. Now watch Dave gonna mess us up. We have our next guest coming in. This guy's a special guy to me. This is a god brother. He calls me Unc. You know what I'm saying? Like say what now?
You're official OG if you're an Unc.
Oh, but I've been official OG. I thought you knew. Triple OG. I wanted to bring him in, man. I'm so super proud of him. Number one, you know, he's a current NFL player, played at the D1 level. I wanted to talk to him about his journey and all those kind of good things like that, and just see, you know, how he feels. And we're gonna bring him in. If we can just bring it in just 1 second here. Jordan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, fellas. How y'all doing?
What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, man? I want to let you just know, Jordan, right off the top, that Dave has dial-up internet, so
so he will be in and out.
So he'll be in and out right now. So until we get that fixed, we will just let you know that he might be at 10 seconds,
right
20 seconds. Right.
So you know, you just try to just kind of pay attention to it.
Jay, what's happening, man? How you doing?
Anyway, thank you, sir, Mr. Jordan.
Hey, hold up.
There you
go
go.
ahead.
Can y'all can't hear me?
We can hear you. It's just you on that dial-up delay over there.
Look, that was last week's conversation. We
Listen, can you hear me? Can you hear me right now? There you go.
And he go. He'll be back. So hold on, Jordan.
All good.
Go ahead. Look, man. Look, this is Jordan Visa, man. This is my god brother. This is my dude. Him, his sisters, his brother. I mean, his dad, his mom. I love the family, man. And every time I see him do anything, it brings a tear to my eye. These guys can tell you, Jordan. I'm sure you want to listen to the podcast because we would just normally do podcasts. We weren't doing video. For the past 2 years, almost at the end of every podcast, like, look, y'all make sure y'all turn on Cal. Y'all got to see my boy. He gonna cry. Right. He gonna do his thing. When the NFL when the draft came around, like, look, I'm trying to tell y'all that boy 6'3", 225 and will run you over and run around you. So you know, I've been talking about you for a while, brother. But I wanted to bring you on, man, and let you talk about, number one, your experience as a NFL and a college player. And of course, you know, a lot of people might not know that you was one of the receivers for Kaepernick for his tryout in Atlanta. And really, because you was an underrated prospect coming out, like, talk about your journey from, like, they know it, the other three people on, because I talk to them about you all the time about, you know, your perseverance in the schools that you went through. But just from your perspective, man, talk about your journey from Gaston City High School to Washington Redskins.
Yeah, and probably you could say that was kind of maybe so the origins, but a lot of it started with me actually at a younger time, really in Pee Wee football up in the middle school. Man, I always had, just growing up being a coach's kid, had a lot of adversity that I had to face early on. You know, I remember being a quarterback in middle school and having to battle for certain things and not getting them. And that's where my fire started there. You know, I had to deal with a lot of politics as a child. And you wouldn't think that would be, you know, something that kids that deal with at that age and, you know, in that level of football. But I had to deal with some of those things. I was always taught to outwork others and to put my best foot forward. And sometimes I wasn't given that opportunity to do that. And that kind of affected me at a younger age. So my fire was lit in me, I would say probably then. And then, so once I got into high school, I started feeding that, and it kind of just took off from there. And just being able to facing that adversity at a young age helped me to be able to know how to deal with it when I got older, and knowing what to do and understanding the kind of the resolve that you have to have, and just not letting your circumstances define you. And I was able to understand that early on. So it helped me to kind of be able to inhibit, like my Uncle Noah said, being able to inhibit and persevere, and just believing in myself. I think that was the biggest thing, knowing that who I was and knowing that what I could be was my biggest motivator. And I can say that to this day, that's what drives me, knowing what I can be and that vision that I see myself as. I'm chasing that every day, and just loving the game of football as well. And just going in my high school years, man, I was a kid. I think when I was playing baseball my first 3 years, and then I was ended up playing football my last 2. My junior year, didn't have the confidence really, but I was out there. I still loved the game, and I was still finding my way. I was actually playing quarterback up until that time. And so then when I switched to receiver, it was a new game for me, and I had to kind of find my way. But I had always been a great athlete, even growing up, just playing all sports around. I knew I was one of the best guys in my city. It was just me growing and believing and stepping into that and who I was. And so after I started getting the feel for it and gaining confidence my junior year, man, I just made up my mind my senior year that I was going to be the best. And I was just inspired by a lot of things. I remember, man, one of the biggest things that inspired me, probably, a lot of people don't know this, but man, one of my good friends, he's like a brother to me, my friend CJ, he had took me to my first collegiate game. And this kind of when my dream first started to be even a collegiate football player. Because truth be told, I never dreamed to be an NFL football player. I remember it was so it should have been 2010. Yeah, I think that's when they won the championship that year. I was down at Auburn. My brother CJ took me to the Clemson game, I think the third game of the season, and that was it was Cam Newton's year. This is when Cam was there, and this was this was his coming out party. Nobody knew who Cam Newton was, his third game of the season, but this was the game I think they was playing against CJ Spiller and the Clemson Tigers, and that's when that dream kind of started. That's when I knew like what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go, and just from that day on, I think that's when I made up my mind like, hey, I want to be a collegiate football player and I want to be the best at it, and I can give that and I can assert that to him. I'm so appreciative and thankful to my brother CJ for just doing that, because little things like that can be a spark for anybody, just seeing it. And once I was able to see it and experience that vibration and just be in that ambiance of the college football, man, I was swallowed by it. Because being a kid from Alabama, either way, you already have this love for college football. I had always loved college football, but never really been around it. And so once I was able to actually be in the atmosphere of it and experience it, man, it did something to me inside. And that's when it really, I started to dream. I started to see myself being that. I started to believe and know that I could become that and be on that stage one day. And then from that day on, I worked my butt off to get to it. And it was about proving myself right. And also proving the people who believed in me right. Even though it was far and few, I knew who I could be and I knew what I wanted to be. And I knew I wasn't going to let nothing stop me from being there. And I was okay with however that happened. I accepted it then and there that I knew it was going to be a process and it was going to take some time. And I accepted that and I was okay with that. And so that's when the journey really started. It was crazy that Uncle Nard said that, but hey, it really goes back to that note. And I'm still, working towards those things now. It's kind of crazy when I sit and think about it, because it's so much to process, man, especially the ups and the downs and the places I've been through just through the game. So just growing up and then just being in Gas City, my senior year, man, like I said earlier, I made up my mind. I decided who I was going to be and what I was going to be about. And it was about proving myself right. And it was about proving a lot of people wrong, too. I wanted to prove that I was the best and I was better than a lot of guys. And I knew I was, because I knew what the type of work I was putting in. And I knew how much I loved the game, too. And I knew how good I could be. And Coach Bill, who was actually the high school coach at the time there, he helped me to see that, and I always hear it takes other people sometimes to see stuff in you for you to see it. And I remember one day Coach Bill just pulled me to the side, and it really changed my life. He just pulled me to the side and told me, like, hey, son, you can be the best receiver that ever come to the school. And just knowing Coach Bill and knowing the people he had seen and knowing the guys that I had played around, for him to see that in me, that helped me tremendously to go out and go and take it. Knowing that I had somebody else who believed in me and who was confident in me, I think that was huge for me, just being able to have that and being able to run with it, especially my senior year when we faced a lot of adversity. But being able to have that confidence, knowing that he believed in me, it helped me to believe in myself more and just earn the respect of him and my teammates. So that was really huge for me. So, I had a great season my senior year, kind of burst out on the scene out of nowhere. Had a great summer. I had a great summer that year. I haven't even talked about the physical blessings I was able to just be gifted from God, man. That junior year, going into my junior year, going into my senior summer, man, I was like 5'7". That summer, going into my senior year, I was 6'2". I woke up.
Wow.
So I was always, my junior year growing up, I didn't have really the physical size and everything. So going into that summer, man, into my senior year, I grew a lot, probably around that time in January, like right before, camp season starts, and just was growing into my body. And once I got that, man, it kind of, that's where it all really started. Then I was like, well, once I started to look at myself in that mirror, I was like, okay, now we got something now. We got what we need. We got the tools at least. So now, we can put the desire with that. And then that's kind of where the perfect storm started to mix. So went on had a great summer that year, really competed against some of the top guys. If I don't know if any of y'all know, but from Gaston City, we were a very competitive school. We are known to have a lot of guys who are high level athletes, and we compete with a lot of high level schools. So having that moniker about us, you know, I've always been competitive, always been a competitive person, but having that responsibility on my back, you know, understanding what I was representing was huge for me. And so that summer, you know, we went out to a lot of places and competed against the best of the best, and that's what actually helped me too. That summer I think we got invited, and I went and played at national 707s down at IMG with at Cam Newton, national 707 stuff like that, playing against some of the top rated guys in the country, and I held my own and I dominated. And just all of those occurrences, just those happenings in that summer, all it was doing was building my confidence and understanding like, hey, I maybe wasn't getting the offers or the looks, but I was seeing the wins. You know, I was going up against guys who were rated 4 stars, 5 stars, but yet they couldn't, you know, I was handing my own. I was there with them, and it didn't matter. You know, it didn't matter what they were. I knew how good I was, and just all of those occurrences were just big revelations for me, and understanding that, hey, just repeating to myself and understanding and affirming what I had already known, that, hey, that I can do this. I can be one of the best. I can compete with the best. And it just all just was kind of just building a fire within me. We just kept stoking it from there. But had a great season my senior year. Ended up leaving out. Didn't have too many offers. Had some offers to go to places, but I had a dream, and my dream was to play at the highest level, and I wasn't gonna let nothing stop me. And that's what I was gonna do. And I knew I could play Power 5 football even then. Going into I knew I was like, hey, I could play in SEC, ACC, Pac-12, anywhere. I can play with those guys. And the thing was, it was my dream to do that. It wasn't just something I want to do. That was like, you know, I can sit here and say, like, I've lived one of my dreams, my lifelong dreams. I've played at the highest level of, you know, Power 5 football. I've experienced playing in top 5 teams and games like that. The things that I envisioned myself doing as a kid, I was able to go out and do that and obtain it. And so when I was in those moments and times of deciding, I had to pick and choose kind of where I want to go. I ended up going to Faulkner University, NAIA school. And a lot of people don't know this, but I'll tell you guys, but I had offers to go, like, to walk on to Division I schools, but I felt like if I was to go there and do that, that I would kind of be stuck there. So I kind of plotted and planned out my route to how I was going to get to Division I football. If I knew it a little bit more then, I probably would have went to a JUCO, but instead I went to an NAIA because I knew, like, hey, I was going to be there only for a certain amount of time, and then I was going to, you know, hone my skills and leave and go to whatever was next. Ended up working out perfect because after I signed and went to Faulkner University, my offensive coordinator that was there was actually ended up getting a job at a junior college in Mississippi. So just amazing to see how God works things out. And so after playing my true freshman year at Faulkner University, which was fun. And that was a big decision for me, just being close to my sister, who was also in the Montgomery area, and also just being a man of faith. That was huge for me. I was able to grow there a lot, and just being able to go there and just let God align the stars for me. Being able to transition from that freshman year, playing as true freshman, to then going out in Mississippi to a junior college where I was at, where I faced a lot of adversity there, man. I was an out-of-state kid. I was out-of-state kid. So being, you know, if you know that in NJCA rules, you can only have 8 out-of-staters on roster, you know, and stuff like that. So I was competing with these other guys who were bounce backs. Not to say that they were better than me, because they weren't. I was out competing. I was the best guy on the team, but it ended up not working out there. And as far as me being, I ended up redshirting that year, my sophomore year, because they gave my scholarship to a guy who was a bounce back. So that happens. You know, I was an NAIA guy coming in and fight for a spot, and that necessarily wasn't respected by some of the coaching staff there. So, hey, it happened. It was what it was, and I was able to just redshirt that year.
You don't have 8
and be in school. I'm echoing right now. Can y'all hear me?
You good. You good. Now, it was there for a second, but you okay. Go ahead. You good.
I got you. So after leaving there, you know, my sophomore year, just stick with me. It's a winding road. You know, I was able to come back after they actually re-offered me to come back that next year to play again, and I came back again and was a starter, everything, and ended up not working out again, man. I would try to give you guys a reason as to why that didn't, but I can't, because it wasn't nothing on my end. I handled my business athletically and academically. I don't think the coaching staff just didn't want me there, and I don't know that. I can give you the answer to that because I don't know it to this day. But it ended up working out perfect because I ended up leaving that fall and going into it. It was, man, I had got all the way up into the first week of camp, and I got a call from my coach telling me that, you know, I had to leave and that they weren't going to keep me on the team for that year to play. And just knowing that, just saying that now, it's like, wow, I remember being in that situation, being like, what am I supposed to do? And
right.
that was a tough time though. So that was a big moment of faith for me, and just I put in God's hand. He led me to what was next, in which it was a coach in Southern California. My coach, Coach Nick Mitchell at Golden West Community College. My coaches ended up helping me from Mississippi. Ended up helping me getting in contact with him. I guess he felt some type of due diligence, at least because of whatever had happened. So he ended up getting me in contact with him. Man, I think I left a week before the season started to go to California. I don't think I told nobody. I didn't tell my mom or my dad except the day before I left and got on the plane.
Yes, I remember. I remember that very. I remember that very well from your father. Like, I don't know what the hell he doing.
He just leaving. Going clean across the country.
Going clean across the country, and it was just. I mean, that's just a testament to what I seen and what I knew about myself. I was ready to play that year before that. I just knew I had to get on the field somewhere, and I knew the rest was going to take care of itself.
Right.
And as we get into it, you'll see that that's exactly what happened. And I was chasing, like I said, I was chasing a dream, and I wasn't going to let nothing stop me from attaining that. And I just, just being able to, even through all that adversity at that time, it all molded me and shaped me. I was hungrier than ever, just as I am now. All it was doing was building more and more in me. And so when I finally got my opportunity to, show what I was about and exhibit it and, state my case that I am one of the best players in the country and I could play, I did it. And I was able to go out to Huntington Beach, California, I think a week before the first game. I think my first game I had like 250 with 2 touchdowns. So ended up going out to go to West Community College for really 4.5 months. End up leaving, man. I end up had to pay. Actually, there's no scholarships out there, so I had to pay for like my rent and everything out there. So you don't get housing and everything. So in order for me to go out there, this is something too I don't really tell a lot of people, but I had a Jordan collection. I collected Jordans my whole life. So ended up selling my Jordan collection to have my first 4 months of rent. So once I got that money for that, it wasn't no stopping me. I think that's why my parents really didn't know, because once I had the money to go, I was like, well, I'm gone. I got the money. So y'all got it. You can't tell me no at this point. So I ended up selling my Jordan collection, man. I got for $2,100, I think, something around that area. And so my rent was like $400 a month. And I knew I was going to be out there for 4.5 because I had the grades. Academically, I was a mid-year guy. I've always been able to handle my own in the classroom as well. So I was a mid-year guy. So I knew I was like, well, wherever I go, I'm going to be gone in 4.5 months. I just got to play the season. I'm gone. So once I got the money for that, man, I took off and got on the flight and landed in Los Angeles. And it just kind of went from there, man. That was one of the best, most blissful moments, just being in football. Just we as a team, the guys embraced me early on, and just being able to go out there and bond with them and showcase my talents. We ended up finishing that year, I think, 9-2. We were ranked at one point in time. We were number 1 in the state and number 3 nationally in junior college. And we ended up finishing, I think, like number 3 in the state and like top 10 for sure nationally that year. But we had a great season, man. Ended up having, I know I had over 1,000 yards, over 10 touchdowns, and I had over 30 something offers, and I ended up being offered by Cal Berkeley that year, and I committed as soon as I went on my visit up there, because I knew just being able to be blessed to have that opportunity to have that degree from that prestige university and to live out my dream of playing Power 5 football in the Pac-12, that was like a no-brainer. I couldn't really turn that down after I went up there. And it was crazy because I got that offer really through the networking of being in my community college in Mississippi in Itawamba. A lot of people don't know this either, but my receivers coach at Cal that ended up offering me was actually 3 years before I was there, was a coach at Itawamba Community College in Mississippi, and he found out about me through the coaches there that he had still known. They told him and everything, and so that's when Cal ended up offering me when they found out where I was at, and they knew kind of that I had that origin. And so being just the track record I had from being out there, it ended up helping me, and even in the time of crazy adversity for me, something that I still don't really care to know to this day. But because of my character and how I handled my business there, I was able to move on to where I was going to next, just because I handled it in the right way. And that was just a testament just to being able to, push through things and keep doing the right things, and it'll work out for you.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Jordan, because that was the part really that I wanted you to say, because David has a son who's similar story to yours. He's a senior coming up this year. Minor high school, running back. He loves and breathes everything about football, just like you. I mean, and it's not being, to me, if you ask me, not being recruited the way he needs to be. And to hear that, it's all about your perseverance and how you persevere through that part of it. Not just because you did that, but because of the fact that you believe in yourself. And I think a lot of people get down about the fact of, oh, such and such didn't offer me yet, or this person got an offer before me, and not understanding how all that works. But if you really love football and you really love the sport, if you believe in yourself, then you continue to work and you continue to do what you love. And that story, your father said you need to write a book.
But a lot of people tell me that. You took the words right out of my mouth, and then you need to find you a publicist right now. Okay, you need to do some public speaking because you're long-winded too. I just want to let you know. I was like, man, you were telling a good story, and you just kept okay. You got my attention, and I was like, what's going to happen?
Just know this is all recorded.
Y'all Kennard just stopped the whole story. I'm like, what are you doing? This intermission?
It wasn't an intermission. It was just more the fact that, I mean, most of the people on the call now, especially when they saw his name, like when Jordan got the Cal, he excelled, and I was going to have him pick back up with his current NFL journey of a part of talking about that, about how it was go through the draft. I'm sure he felt like he should be drafted and not being an undrafted free agent. So I was gonna let him pick up on that, but I wanted to just put that part in there. Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, no, it's but it's funny he said that just to think about being long-winded, and it's crazy because when you live it, it's like only me and God, we have that experiential knowledge to know exactly everything I've been through, and that's really now being 25 and being where I am now, man, that's just really the first part of it. So it's crazy because now, like, this is me explaining just one section of it because I've experienced it even as I kept going. So, but yeah, we'll pick up at that. But even just to piggyback off of my Uncle Norris, even my coaches at Cal told me when they recruited me, I was ranked. I think I was like top 10 junior college receivers coming out that year. And even they told me, they was like, yeah, you still was under recruited. I was actually trying to get back home at that time and get back to Auburn. And I was talking, but at the time, Coach Burns, he was in Middle Tennessee at the time. They had offered me, Coach Burns, so me and him actually had a good relationship. They had offered me at Middle Tennessee to go. But like I said earlier, guys, I knew where I wanted to be. And I was like, I want the best of the best. I want to be at the highest level of football because I knew that's where I could play. So that whole time I was getting a lot of Division I AA offers. I had some other stuff, but they weren't Power 5. So once I started getting my Power 5 offers, even the coach at Cal was like, yeah, you probably under recruited still. So I was like, yeah, and I got it. But even I was trying to get back home at that time, but it ended up working out perfect, man. Berkeley, being able to sign on and go to Cal was one of the most life-changing experiences I've ever had. Just having and being a coaching young man from being from Gaston, Alabama, going all the way to Southern California and having that be a part of me now is huge. And then just to leave Southern California and go up to Northern California and be in Berkeley at a prestigious university at one of the, biggest melting pots and culture places in America was like, just having that being a part of me now has been one of my biggest blessings. And just, yeah, man, left that year, mid-year of 2015. So going into 16, I was a mid-year guy, ended up signing and leaving Golden West as a top 10 receiver, ended up signing to Cal. And yeah, kind of, that's when it started. I was in my dream. Then I was there and kind of was able to experience it for the little 2 years I did have, but it was great. My junior year ended up going on. I was playing all in the slot. I had, I think I ended up finishing that year with like 4 touchdowns. Can't remember as far as how many catches and yards, but had an okay year. Probably not the year that I expected to have, but I was still getting adjusted to being on the college scene. And then my senior year, we had a coaching staff change in 2016 with Coach Wilcox that benefited me greatly. And I was able to go back on the outside where I was more natural, what I was more used to, and got back to that game and had a real good senior season. Ended up finishing, I think, with like 9 touchdowns and had a good, I think over like 600, 700 yards, had a good season and ended up going after that, going undrafted and signed with the Tennessee Titans in 2018 draft. Like Uncle Nar said, yes, I did think I should have been drafted. I did. And but it just came back to a testament of who I was. And it didn't matter. at that point in time, it became a new dream that I was chasing. After I achieved and went and played and excelled at Cal, it became now when I got into the league, it was like that same thing refestered. It was like I wanted to prove to myself that, hey, this is the league now. This is the best of the best, and I knew I could play there as well. So it kind of just like reinvigorated itself and reinvented itself. It was no longer about the college ranks. Like I said earlier, I never really too much dreamed about being in the NFL. I always wanted to be a college football player, and once I was able to achieve that and go, it became now the league because it was another basically it was another challenge to me, another challenge to see, and to prove myself right, and also to prove others wrong and let them know, like, hey, I'm the one for the best. I've always been the best, and I play with the best. And so that kind of just reinvigorated fire within me, and kind of going back out there and I had a real good year my first year, especially going into Tennessee. I had some very, very good times with them. I learned how to be a professional in Tennessee. One of my biggest blessings, and also one of my biggest adversity that I faced was being when I was cut from Tennessee. I felt like I should have been on that team, at least on the practice squad, especially the team plays that I was making and the things that I was doing there. And it brought me back to the drawing board. It did. It really it brought me back to the drawing board, and me being able to kind of ask myself that question again. It's like, hey, is this what you want to do, and this what you want? And I knew that's what I was, and I knew that's what I did want, and I wanted to prove that again. So that's when it kind of just re-stoked in me, especially having that fire of being cut. If you've ever been cut from anything, I was actually cut before that, and had my junior college in Mississippi, so I had experienced it before, but this one, it was a lot more for me. So I was I had some experience with it, but I knew, having that experience, I knew what I needed to do. Like, I knew that wasn't the end all, just having those past experiences, knowing how to affirm them and be able to apply them again when I was able to face it in another situation was huge for me. It knocked me down, but it didn't knock me out. And it honestly just helped me to get up, come back stronger. So after that year, my first year I was with Tennessee, ended up not actually being on practice squad with anybody that year, man. That was a year of rebuilding for me. I was back home, which helped me tremendously, being back home around my family. I hadn't been around really my family or been back home since I left to go to California. And we telling this story and a little bit long with it, but a span of like 3 years happened before I was even back home. You get what I'm saying? With everything that had went on. So after I had been released by Tennessee, I went back home and was training the whole time and just was preparing for my next move. And it was it goes back to a testament of perseverance. I learned perseverance through my other times and transferred and being in those school systems and having to deal with other things and not getting those phone calls while I was waiting to be back in the league. I was able to manage that a lot better because I knew what it felt like. I knew what not to let myself get to. I knew how to manage. I knew how to keep myself mentally and emotionally to be able to keep persevering. And so having those, being cultured by those things and being, strengthened by those things. I always say, like, the things that are deemed as failures for me are all the things that I stand upon today. Those are what make me who I am. And so being able to be in that moment again where I had to face those things again, I was stronger because of it. I knew I could come out on the other side of it. And that's exactly what I did. End up my second year, which was last year, signing with the Colts. Ended up going in with them to camp and everything. Had a good year with them as well. I had a really good year. I grew again. I was able to, and my whole story kind of with me being in the league and coming and me just my rise to where I am now as a 25-year-old young man, it's all been about progression and getting better and learning, even through your failures and through the knocks and your ups and your downs, being able to learn and grow. Every year I come back and every year I do something, I'm a better person. I'm a better man. I'm a better football player. I'm able to take whatever I've been through and learn from it and let it become a part of me and let it help me going forward. And so that second year, I was able to know more things. I was able to understand things better. I was able to know how to maneuver and be in the workspace. I was able to deal with all the things that come with being in the NFL locker room. I knew what I needed to do on the field and off the field. So I had learned how to be a professional in Tennessee. And then my second year, which was last year, ended up finishing up with the Colts. Didn't get signed back on their practice squad, but I ended up signing with the Buffalo Bills right after them. So I was with them for a majority of that second year. And after that, I left with the Buffalo Bills for a short stint. I was with them for like half of the season. That's when I wasn't getting too many calls. And then with Uncle Narva, what he referred to earlier, which is crazy. It don't even feel real sometimes because how it happened for me, man. I ended up working out with Colin Kaepernick in Atlanta at the big thing, for everything to go on. So that ended up happening. I'll tell y'all the backstory behind that as well because it's real crazy too. But end up meeting Kaepernick. I had actually met Kaepernick earlier in my college career. I had took a class with Cap at Berkeley. So I had already kind of had some previous dealings. We never introduced myself to him, but we were in the same class. We shared the same classroom and kind of had that just had that collective occurrence. But he was in a class with me at Berkeley back in 2016, man. I ended up thinking I was here. I was home. I was working out, training still, staying ready, being ready. I had workouts going on and stuff at the time. I wasn't just, not doing anything. I had workouts going on, but I didn't really have a catch yet. So I was thinking to myself, I remember when the news had broke and I was just thinking, like just sheepishly thinking, I was like, man, he said he was in Atlanta. I started thinking to myself, I was like, I wonder if he's going to need a receiver to get the ball. Because I was thinking, I was like, this is an NFL workout. I go to NFL workouts all the time. I know he's not just going to have no average Joe person out there catching routes for him and stuff.
Right.
So I started thinking, I started thinking to myself, I was like, I could do it. I'm only hour and a half away from Atlanta from Gaston. So I was like, I could do it. So I just started thinking about it. And I left it alone. I think that night I prayed on it and I said, well, let me talk it to God and let him see what I need to do about it. And I didn't even think nothing of it. I said, I'm going to give it to him and I'm just going to let it happen however it happens. Whatever happens, it happens. Wake up the next morning, I think I let 2 days pass by, and that's when I started thinking. I was like, well, let me send an email to somebody. Ended up emailing Kaepernick's agent and inquiring about the workout, and he actually ended up responding back to me later on that night while I was training. It was probably around like 12 a.m. He had hit me up, and I was out training, doing stuff. When I get home, I get real nocturnal. I train in the nighttime, and then I sleep during the days. So, but when he emailed me back, I was like, well, this could be something now. Then I was like, okay. That's when I started telling. Then I started telling people. I started telling my agent and everything. And I ended up getting in contact and telling my agent, like, hey, I talked to his agent and stuff. It may be a possible thing, because at first I told my agent when I even had the idea come in my mind, he agreed too. But then I was like, well, let's see first. And so after that, I told my agent, I think it was the day before the workout. It was, the day before the workout. I was like, hey, I know they're going to want to get like a practice session in before they actually do it. So if we're going to reach out and ask them something, we need to ask them now. I ended up telling my agent that he had actually had dealings with Kaepernick's agent prior to that. He had met him, so he was able to reach out to him and got a response and told him, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. And so they ended up asking me to come to Atlanta, drive over that day at Georgia Tech's facility. I think I'm around like 11 a.m. So that's an hour ahead of us. So I had woke up early that morning anticipating like I need to be up early because if they do say, yeah, I need to be ready to leave and get on the road. So I was like, the whole time I was like, the whole time I was just like in the batter's box. I was just in the batter's up cage. Like, all right, make sure. I don't know what's going to happen, but if something do happen, I need to be up and be ready. And so my agent, I think he hit me up at like 2 hours before I needed to be there. I was like, hey, yeah, they said, come on. So it was like, okay, so it didn't happen. So I ended up going and throwing with Cap and getting the practice run. And, it was just basically like routes on air and stuff we do all the time. So that was nothing. And just being in the equation with him. And then that next day was the actual workout. And that's kind of when the everything started, man. And I never knew, I was going there to, showcase my talents and also help out Kaepernick. But I never knew that I would be a part of something that big and what it ended up becoming. And I'm just blessed to be able to have that experience, to be able to share that with him, and now have Kaepernick as a brother to me, to be someone I could just reach out to and talk to and just have in my corner. And just also to have been a part of that history and have been there for him was huge for me. And it was like something out of a fairy tale because I never expected that, If a lot of people don't know, but behind the scenes, all that stuff was just like it all happened exactly how it happened. None of that was planned. It was all off of reaction, or to the point that, when we got up there that day, we were supposed to go to an NFL facility, and it was supposed to be sanctioned there. It was supposed to be a private workout, something you guys have never even seen or heard about. But that was one of the biggest things for Kaepernick, and just his personal situation that he wanted was transparency. So after that, and when they couldn't agree to terms on that, that's when Kaepernick and his team kind of took everything by the reins, and we took a hard left. And we just went with it. I had given him my word already, and I also wanted to be there for him just as much as being able to showcase my own talents. I think everybody in the room did that as well. So whatever they decided on, we knew that's what we were going to do. So ended up heading out, to Atlanta to a local high school, and ended up showcasing our talents. And we didn't know it was gonna be like that as far as the media and all those people that were out there, but they were for sure there. And so having that and it being that, man, it was crazy because it was like a couple of days before, man, I was just joking about that. And then I was there, and I was there and I was in it. And then I ended up being like the guy. I was like the main clip that they used as far as when a Cavs deep ball, it was me. And I remember like going home and that night and just turning on the TV, and I was like all over CNN and ESPN. And I was like, wow, it's something I just, gave and just prayed on and gave to God. And he sanctioned for me to be there. He chose me to be that guy catching that ball and doing those things. And it was crazy because I hadn't even told anybody. Only my mother knew that I was leaving. It's kind of similar to that California story. Only my mother knew. Only my mother knew I was going to Atlanta that morning because I told him I was leaving. One of my good friends knew I had told him that night what probably happened. And that was it. And my sister, Amber, I told her, I think, that morning as well. But those are the only people who knew. And so I went up there, and then the next day, they calling me talking about, you all on TV, what happened to this? I was like, yeah.
Man.
So,
and to know that it all came from an email is just crazy. Like, you was just like, you know what, I'm just going to shoot this email out, and you know what, whatever happened, it's just going to happen. And then for it to grow organically like that, it's crazy, man.
Yeah. And it was, just like you said, for it to grow organic like that, it was just something I didn't want to control it. I was gonna I was gonna put my best foot forward and do what I need to do, and then hey, whatever else happened, it happened. And so I just knew I was gonna be ready. And that's kind of what my whole my moniker has been about me in general, just in anything. No matter what I go through and what I face, I know I'm gonna be ready because I love the game that I play. I do it for free if I could because that's just what I love to do.
No,
and so
not.
It's about. I wouldn't, but yeah. But
don't take something. Your agent right now is saying
it's cussing you out.
No,
don't do it.
Don't say that.
Don't do it.
No.
If he had it in some type of way, I could be able to do that. But I get y'all. But no, will I pay for free? No, I'm not. I will not. But no,
not at all.
But man, just to be in those moments and it just attributes to everything I've learned in my journey and being ready and always being prepared and not letting your circumstances and your situation define you. I think that's huge. And when I come back to anything that I can just go over just my life and my journey, it's a long one and it's still being written, which is the crazy part.
Right.
And it's only the beginning for me. And in that same fire that I had then, I have it now, and it's even bigger because I'm getting closer and closer to it. I'm with every step, that I'm taking, I'm growing, I'm better. I'm learning things. I'm able to have that knowledge now, and that's what it's all has given me. It's given me wisdom and knowledge. And so a lot of people, get hindered by their failures and their losses. But man, I can tell you just in that story, I've lost way more than I've won. And those losses give you a great perspective to be able to keep going forward, to know that, hey, eventually you're going to get this right and you're going to win and you're going to win big. And so, and I understand that, and just knowing who I am and understanding, like, as far as my faith in the man that I'm going to be and the man that I see myself as, that's what I'm chasing. That's what I'm trying to become. And that's what I'm, and that's a process and that's a day-to-day thing. And just everything else will take care of itself as long as I'm putting my best foot forward and, being me authentically and organically and just, being who I know I can be. And so after that workout, it was crazy, but yeah, it happened. And then everything was on ESPN, man. I think the Jets were out there, the Redskins and the Browns and the Eagles. They were the teams who were present at the thing. And so I was able to talk to them and ended up being signed actually by the Redskins, I think a week and a half later. I was signed by the Redskins, ended up finishing the year with them on their practice squad. And that's how we kind of got to where we at now when we're heading into training camp. And I think, in a week and a half, I'll be in training camp tentatively, amid everything with the virus. But after the cap workout, ended up signing with them, ended up finishing with them and had a real good year with them as far as the team. Kind of now everybody, it's crazy now. Like I went from that to this, and it's kind of like I'm always on something. There's something going on with the world. So, with everything with the Redskins right now.
Not the Redskins. They don't want to be the Redskins no more.
You'll be a Washington player, but you won't be a Redskins.
Hey, Hey, Jordan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, he's on
Hey,
time.
goddamn, Mike, you can hear me. Got one question for you, man. You know, I was watching YouTube last night, man, because I heard you coming on the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I watched a couple of your KL highlights, man. You were making some NFL catches back then, but I got one question. Did Kip teach you how to push off on that fade route when you was at KL?
Nah, he ain't teach that. He ain't teach that. That's something you gotta learn by playing the game. You gotta learn how to do it. You gotta learn how to be slick with it. It's just a part of it. Nah, he ain't teach me that one though. He did. But
Now, White,
after the win.
don't get that man daddy started, please, because he already over here. He already over in the comments talking mad noise as his son is sitting there describing what's going on. I want to ask you this though, Jordan. Like, this is a question that Ben had because Ben was moving today and he had a lot of stuff going on, so we didn't know he was going to be on or not. So, as you get ready to go into camp, who are you looking forward to facing as a DB?
Well, even in that, you know, I've learned too, in being able to just learn and grow, man. I can really compete with Jordan Veazey, and I found that as I do that, it puts something in me that's it's greater and beyond competing with them, because every day if I can see myself and better myself, then they can never even they can never even challenge me in that point. And that's what I say. Even into that, they just faces out there when you really go to it and when you start playing ball. Because it's all the same thing. It's just a different person, different techniques. You learn them, you grow, and you play them. But I really don't even look to it like that. I look to dominate. I truly do. I don't really look to see anything. I look to dominate no matter who it is, from the best guy to the worst. I look to win every single opportunity I get to. And I think that's the best way to handle it, being in the league, because that's how you have to be. You know, when the opportunity presents itself, you got to dominate, and you got to be able to win no matter who it's against. Because if you show that one day the best guy, you beat him, but you can't beat the worst, what does that say? You get what I'm saying? So you got to be able to just every single day, the notion and at the end of the day, the end all has to be that he wins. And that's what I'm going to set the tone and set the precedent. That's what I want to be known for, knowing that, well, at the end of the day, when they turn on the film and when they have to create and build an argument and a case for me to be on that 53-man roster, they have to say, well, he can, because he has won. He's won repetitively, and he continues to win no matter who it's against. So you don't even look at those things. You don't even get wrapped up in it, because it can take you for a whirlwind. And then honestly, to be honest, in my personal experience, it can take you to a point where you're not on where you're off your game, where you're thinking about stuff that absolutely does not matter. So my biggest thing is about just, competing with me and just dominating and just playing to my technique and winning how I know how to win.
Now, this is a common question that people get asked a lot. I'm going to ask you this, and then I'm going to let you go and wrap it up a little bit here. Unless I'm sure the fellas got some other questions, because they took like he got one, but who did you see at an NFL game that you was starstruck? Like, oh God, I can't believe I just saw somebody made such a practice or anything. Like anybody in the NFL you saw, you'd be like, man, like I'm really around this. I'm really just saw such and such. Now I know how confident you are in yourself. I know that. And you like, nah, these boys ain't nothing. But I also know there's one person I got in mind that I'm thinking of. I want to see. Was there one person that you was close to that you maybe got to see that you didn't think you was gonna be able to see, or just anybody that you thought about that you was like?
It was for me, one I seen it was definitely like that, but I never really got too starstruck because I always knew I belonged, and it was cool being alongside of them, and I was also trying to gain their respect. So I respected them, but I wanted them to show them too that like I can play with you, I can help the team too as well. So everywhere I've been, it's kind of been like that. But the first person I was starstruck, and not necessarily I would say starstruck, but I was awed at him and how he worked and how good he was at the game of football. And I'll never forget it. It was Jason Pierre-Paul. Jason Pierre-Paul is a freak. I didn't know Jason Pierre-Paul was a freak like that until we were in joint camp with them, and I seen him do some things to one of the top left tackles in the world that like I was like damn, like he liked it, and I never had seen grown men do stuff like that. And I was like, but like when he turned on the switch, I was like, damn, like that's dominate. Like he was like, that was one I know for sure. It was Krill, it was Andrew. Andrew was kind of like that. It was really good to be around Andrew, but Andrew was such a down to earth guy. It's hard to be starstruck around him because he's so welcoming and he helps everybody along the way.
Hey,
so
Jordan.
Andrew was one.
Jordan, how big really is Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry's pretty big. Yeah, he's big. He is really big. Yeah, Derrick is big. And it's crazy.
He said, "Look, I ain't even a front."
I was thinking to myself, yes, I was congratulating. I had him comment on his page and congratulating him. I was happy to see him, get compensated for what he deserves and being able to see that. But yeah, I remember being in those camps with being there, seeing those guys. And I can necessarily say this for me, I was never too starstruck because I was always watching those guys to see what they did. I was always watching them to be able to learn from them. So I couldn't even afford that luxury to be like that because I wanted to be who they were and what the position they were in. So I was always kind of more so studying them than anything being starstruck. If I was too busy being enamored by what they was, I wouldn't be able to take from them what I needed to take from them. So guys like that, like the Taylor Lewans and the Derrick Henrys, all those guys, those big names, and Marcus Mariota too, just seeing Marcus. And like Marcus was another guy who I was all about when I see him run. Like Marcus probably the most beautiful like stride and just running that I've ever seen somebody play. Like just plays gracefully. Like that's probably the most graceful play I've ever watched and play. And just how they play the game. And T.Y. was great to learn from and see him and just how cool he was. He was a great guy to be around. And AP was cool to be in red with the Washington Redskins this year and to see AP and see how he practices.
We already know he a damn machine, man. We already know.
Just watching them, man, it's amazing. Like, to watch those veterans, those guys who you guys talk about who are like dominant in the league, man, it's great to see them and just see how they are what they are, and that's kind of the best thing as far as like watching guys like Delaney Walker and these great pros, the guys who are veterans, like just pros, know how to play the game, know how to go about the game on and off the field, and just know how to do things the right way. And it's just good to be able to watch them in their process, and that's the main thing I was able to see just by studying them, and that's what I was able to do. But for sure, Jason Pierre-Paul, yeah, he was freaky. I remember him. Yeah, that's the one for sure. I was like, wow,
that's what's up.
So that was
dude. He is that dude.
Before we first of all, let me give a background over here, Jordan, between Tuck and David. David is a diehard Eagles fan, and Tuck is a Giants fan. I believe.
Okay, so we got
we got a little beef, but Tuck is. I think I don't know. I never really asked you. I don't know if Tuck is a Giant. Tuck's first cousin is Justin Tuck, so. I never really thought to ask him, is that the reason why he's a Giants fan? But I'm pretty sure that has a lot to do with it. But, I wanted to give the guys opportunity to ask that question. Any other questions that y'all have for Jordan before, for being, first of all, thank you for being so gracious with your time. First of all.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I was about to say, thank you for, telling your story. I already told you got your story, young man. You got something there. All I ask is if you don't mind, can you talk to somebody for me about?
Hold on. Whoa. Ain't nobody getting nothing before the uncle gets it. Right now.
I just throw that out there. If you wanna,
I just want to throw that out there. Just throw that out there.
Kaepernick said he don't sign fake jerseys. He don't sign.
First of all, don't even.
You sold that. Your auntie sold that.
That's a Coosa County special. Coosa County special.
All right.
If you're ever around them, you can just.
I got you. For sure.
That's all I ask.
Yeah. Let me. What about you, Ben? You got anything you want to add?
I'm good, man. I know with y'all with the coaching change, are you looking forward to getting out there with Rivera? I know going from Gruden to Rivera is going to be definitely different.
Yeah, it's going to be. I wasn't there with Coach Jay Gruden at the time. It was the interim head coach and Coach Callaway last year when I was there. So, but yeah, very excited about just the whole culture and regime change under Coach Ron Rivera. Excited to see him. He's actually a former Cal athlete like me. So, it'd be cool to kind of be able to transition and see the new regime and the culture that they set. And just everybody don't know what's going on right now, but everything with the virus and everything. But it's gonna be I'm very excited because just very excited to see the work that's been put in. This has been a very trying time for a lot of people. So I feel like this is gonna be a great opportunity for those who love the game and who prepare themselves to be able to show and exhibit that, because it's gonna have to be that way because we've been, like we've said, just the whole I think the whole main focal point of this conversation has been like just being able to adapt and be able to persevere through adversity. And I feel like just this year in itself has been exactly that. And I'm excited because I know what I've done and I know what I've been doing. So nothing has really changed for me being in this whole time because I'm used to being, on my own, doing things this way and being prepared no matter what the circumstances may present. So being able to kind of have this, I'm excited about this year and the opportunity that presents and just to get back in the building with the guys as well. I do miss being in it because, usually like around this time, like a couple weeks ago, we would have been in the building, but we didn't get.
That's how I was going to say. When do y'all report at this point?
Tentatively, we're supposed to report on the 28th. Camp's supposed to start, but that's all tentative. We still have the PA and the NFL are still even trying to reach agreements on what they're going to do about protocols and stuff in that matter. So we will see, man. Everything right now is up in the air, but none of that stuff yet. At the end of the day, you got to be able to control what you can control. So whenever they say when we're ready, I'm gonna be ready. So we'll just take it from where we go from there.
Hey Dave, you got anything? You got anything that you want to hit him? I know you got. Where is your son?
he right. Actually, he right here, man. He got the other AirPod in.
Oh, okay.
So he was able to catch some of the end part of it. When Jordan was talking about his attitude he takes. When he gets to camp, it's hey, I'm coming to win. I'm trying to win every one-on-one. So yeah, he's here now. He was out training, so he just walked back in the door about 15 minutes ago. So yeah, he has the other AirPod in, so he's been listening along with us.
Well, we're gonna put it up on the YouTube channel, so he can go back and look at. But Jordan, before you get out of here, sir, I mean the people that's on here now and the people that's gonna watch on the replay. Definitely drop your social media information, man, so they can follow you and keep up with you and support you along your journey, man, because we're all in your corner. So we definitely gonna be cheering you on. You know what I'm saying? Hope to see you catching them touchdowns on Sunday. So go ahead and give us your social media information.
Yeah, we will for sure. But my Instagram is JVZ_, and my Twitter is @TheJordanVeezy. So pretty simple, but my name and just V plus easy is how I tell people to spell it. That's the easiest way to remember. So
yes, sir.
But yeah, man. But yeah, we'll go from there, man. I really appreciate y'all. It was fun, man. Y'all hilarious. I love that. Just the environment, just getting to speak to y'all, man. I feel like I'm speaking to somebody like for the guy from Gaston as well. So it's been great, man. No, I appreciate y'all.
Hey, man.
We try to be on our best behavior tonight. Renard kind of gave us that. He gave us that speed pride too. So we're trying to be on our best behavior.
We were told by our president we got to be careful.
Right.
Then you said you went to Faulkner too. And I had what? We got to be no cussing and everything. And I'm like, oh, okay. Let's open this thing up. Let's ride.
Because I'm the loud one, so
Yeah, he is the loud one.
Yeah, that's why I'm talking so loud right now. Jordan, I got a question.
Can y'all be quiet and let David talk for 2 seconds?
Jesus.
Oh God! Come on, shit!
I just want you to repeat your Twitter handle because I'm about to follow you now.
Oh man,
the Jordan Veezy. There you go.
We'll say that again because Tuck won't shut the hell up. So I'm trying to hear what you're saying.
There we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
The Jordan Veezy. THE, then Jordan Veezy. There we go.
Hey Jordan, you got to go slow for the old folk, Jordan.
Nah, I get it. Listen,
you got the specs on.
Trust me, I know. I'll be in here. I'm with my mom right now, and she's not tech savvy at all. So I be having to be patient with her. So I'll be patient with you. Ain't no thing. I get you. I got you.
No, you ain't got to. You ain't got to do that. The problem is you got two people that won't shut the hell up for 20 seconds.
That's right.
So right. You can say what you need to say.
And what people don't realize, the two people that doing all the laughing and being loud, they were the two late motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Late today. Late.
I was on time today. For a change, I was on time today. Okay, I was on time.
Okay, look. Hey,
look at David. Look at David rubbing up the accident. You better calm down.
Can I talk for 2 seconds?
Yes, sir.
But Jordan, what I was going to ask you, man, we might, we don't know what's gonna hold with what season, man. But the thing about our show, and a lot of things that we're getting ready to do now that we are officially an LLC, the one thing that we love about our podcast, we don't like coming at stuff from fans. We like the deep part of football. We like the real part of football. People say there's 1,000 shows out there that act like fans, but we like to be, to take it from my boy Funny Man. Unfortunately, is like a fanalist. Like that's what we want to know. We want the game part of it. When people don't really understand, they just watching the play. They don't understand all the audibles, all the variations that go into the play, or things that can actually happen, stuff like that. That's the part of the game that we want to talk, that we want to know more about, that we want people to hear more about, because that's the part that people don't know. They just watch the game on Saturday or Sunday, and they just looking to see what happens and what they're looking at with their eyes, but not really knowing what's going on. So if we was able to get you back on, man, for anything, we would appreciate it. But bro, I just really appreciate you taking the time, man, like for real, like and telling your story, man. And anytime you want to come back, man, or whatever, we appreciate it. We got a lot more stuff coming, a lot more different things we about to do, man, and we just appreciate you. So just continue rocking with us, and we got your back also, brother.
Yeah, for sure. Now we can do it for sure, and we'll dive deep into it, and we'll explain some of the other stuff as far as being able to help other people understand the game. It is a lot to it, but that's what makes it the best part of it. That's what makes the best of the best. They're able to take it at a high level and process it and then execute it. So yeah, we'll get into it for sure, man. We taking one step at a time. Go to camp, go make this thing happen, and we'll go from there, man. I see y'all, but we'll do it again.
All right,
sure.
man.
That's it,
Go
man.
get it, man. Appreciate you, bro. Go get it.
Only you, Jordan. Only you. I'm only pulling for you, Jordan. That's it. And I'm pulling for nobody else.
Man, I appreciate y'all. Y'all be
thank
good,
you, man.
Appreciate
All right, bro.
All right. Y'all have
Take care. All right. Hey, brothers, how y'all doing? Good. Now, we got
brothers. Are y'all all right?
Can I?
Oh,
what the hell is going on?
You hit my line. You know what I'm saying? You hit my line. You know what I'm saying? Sisters, how y'all feel? Brothers, are y'all all right? You know what I'm saying? You hit my line.
Dude.
Yeah,
Dude,
being Badu up there.
When you put the damn drink down, put the goddamn cup down. Now I see what the damn problem is.
Look, apple cider is whooping your ass right now.
Ain't nobody with my ass beside that Wi-Fi.
Oh my bad. Oh God. I promise you, I'm about to remove him. I'm about to remove him. I'm not in this mood. He just couldn't wait just to scream or holler. I swear, niggas going. But anyway. Before we go, man, anybody got any questions from the audience? Before you say anything, please, everybody that's still here, that's still hanging with us right now, please go follow us on YouTube. Please like our page. As you can see, just from the scroll to the bottom, we are now officially LLC. We have a lot of things that we're about to do. A lot of things y'all gonna see a lot more of us, man. We just appreciate y'all for coming on. Yes, Kip, I'm gonna send him to AA. He next. Yeah, he going to AA.
Yes.
He just
yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we have to give him. If we can't give him water, then he don't know how to act. Like I don't know.
I have made but great throughout the show.
However, since we don't really know what's going on, don't worry. We're not going anywhere, man. Regardless of what happened, we're gonna still be reporting. We're gonna be bringing y'all a lot more YouTube videos. Not just regular live shows, a lot of stuff that's going on that people have requested of us, but we just need y'all to continue to rock with us. If there's anything y'all want to ask us about anything that's going on that's in your head right now, we're going to do it for about 5-10 minutes and then we want to hold y'all up no more. But please like our page, subscribe to our YouTube page, and on Facebook and on Twitter, follow us. You know what I'm saying? Down South Football Podcast. Everything is about to really amp up. I'll just leave it like that. So regardless of what happens with the season, we're still going to be around either way it goes. So if anybody got anything right now, just type it in the comments, or is there a subject that y'all want to hit on real quick before we get out the door?
I do. No,
what up, D? I see you, D. Eric.
What is your feelings about the conference only schedules, if that's what we end up with?
I said it earlier when we were talking. You got to do whatever you can to get a season, and that's what they're trying to do.
Right?
Hell, it's gonna be to the point now. It's gonna be states. It's gonna be like, hey, you're gonna play, and that has been floated. Like actually, like having UAB and Samford, and you playing they playing Alabama and Auburn. Like, dude, they trying to do whatever they can to get it. Like the conference only thing, I'm not 100% on board with it, because like with the Big Ten, like. You know, they were talking about like the thing with like, was it between like Rutgers and like Virginia Tech? Somebody was playing somebody and was going to have to drive like an extra 400 miles to play a conference only game, but they couldn't play that out of conference game that was actually like 40 miles from their campus. Like it's. But the thing about it is, I said it before, man. There's everything that we're going through right now. We've never gone through it before, and we just not going to be able to really judge anything. It's just we just hoping to get a season, and we hoping to get one that's not too bad, and just whatever it is, whatever we can get is what we can get. I know how Tuck feel about it. Tuck has already said the season's done. It's over with. The hell with it. It's over with. But I guess I don't have a plan. Everything changes every day. Like if you're not keeping up with this stuff every day, it changes by the hour. It's like the corona when it started. It was like by the hour. Like you went to work on Monday, everything was okay. You heard about corona by Friday, you were locked in your house. Like that's that's just kind of how it was. So I'll pass it around the room. Tuck, what's your feelings if they play? I know how you feel what's going to really happen. If they play, what's your feeling about a conference only?
If they play, conference only should be the best route. To me, it's the best route to go. Right. Even if they do try to fill in the schedule, I think regionally they should, play, schools from just like Auburn. Auburn should play Troy. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel because it's right down the street. I feel as though Alabama needs to play UAB. I think teams like that. It's instead of people
that's political. That ain't gonna happen. That's a whole.
That's very political. But at this point in time, everything is political for real. Even if them playing football, it's very political. But I think at this point in time, in this juncture, if you want to play football, it's going to have to be with no fans. It's going to have to be regional schedules, and it's going to be like test out of the wazoo. Like you're going as soon as you get off the football field, you gotta take a test. As soon as you go to practice, you gotta take a test. It's going to have to come down to that point as far as if you want to see football. Do I think it'll happen? Of course, I said no. But if they do it that way, it might shoot it off.
Dave.
Of course, I feel different than what Tuck just said.
Of course,
yeah, obviously,
but for
obvious reasons. But no, I think that I feel too that the conference only thing. I don't really get the whole distance travel.
Dave, before you do that, before you say that, and I'm gonna let you go finish. But what I wanted to interject was that the fact that, like that tweet I sent y'all earlier that says basically, like what Kip was saying about the Power 5 versus Power 5, that the ACC, the SEC, and the Big 12, Big 12 are actually working together to kind of like having a cross schedule. So basically, I think they did the Power 5. I think they did the Power 5. The Big 10 did the conference only thing to kind of set up a scenario to where we're probably going in a couple years anyway about the Power 5 separating from the NCAA, which they should have been damn done. That's a whole different story. But I think it's going to be like, well, we're just going to play Power 5 versus Power 5 because really those are going to be the only ones that are going to be able to
afford this.
And with the FCS, they already talking about giving them 2 wins to help make them bowl eligible. So it's like, but go ahead, Dave. I just want to interject about that part of it.
Well, you basically took my point. Great job, bro. I don't have nothing to say.
Dave, don't do me like that, dog. Go ahead. No, for real. Go ahead.
No, I'm for real. I don't have nothing to say.
What part of your point I took?
All of
everything.
All of it. All of
it. I'm reading comments also, sir.
What? What? Talking about the Power 5?
Great job, Kip. Yeah, that's what I was headed to. But yeah, we did.
Niggas don't give nobody no credit. That's our black folk, boy. I tell you, boy.
I gonna cut you no slack. Zero.
None.
None at all.
You worse than Trump.
Well.
Damn.
But I ain't got 2 tags on
Make that credit.
Hey, Tuck, I ain't got 2 tags on the back of my car that say Donald and Trump. How about that?
Very, very true.
Hey.
That's very, very.
Gotta
very,
give
very
it to you right there.
But
so y'all good? Are we good? Y'all want to?
Yeah, because at this point, we in wait and see mode now to see what they're gonna do. Cause like you said, the clock ticking.
Well, I think we already said 2 weeks ago that it was going to be the end of July. So Armageddon is coming up soon. End of July is the time frame, and that's basically what they said with the SEC having that meeting the other day, the ACC having that meeting. Basically, bottom line is, hey, we're just in a wait and see mode, but by the end of July, we're gonna know one way or the other. Now, Dave, I'm gonna ask you this question: are you comfortable? I mean, outside the fact you're trying to get your son, more exposure and get him to whatever money he can get, are you comfortable with your son playing this year?
Comfortable? That's a loaded question. That's really loaded. Am I comfortable? No. I'm not comfortable with, not only am I not comfortable with him playing, but I'm not comfortable going to work. I'm not comfortable going shopping. I'm not comfortable with a lot of things. So here's my thing. Here's the option that I'm looking at on the board for us. Okay, right now they've been practicing for the last few weeks. He's been good. Everything with him has been fine. I'm going to look more into this virtual option that they have where he's able to do his work at home, and then he just drives to the school in the afternoon or the evening for practice. If someone, to me, if you're concerned about, and you should be, if you're concerned about playing football, then you also should be concerned about going to school. You should be concerned when you go to work. You should be concerned when you go to Publix, when you go to Home Depot. I mean, because it's no way we can avoid it, man. And I guess I feel like this because I work at a job that I'm in the public. I just kind of just built up just I ain't gonna say a so what type of attitude, or if I get it, I get it, because I don't want it. Trust me. And I do all the precautions I can, but in my life, I can't avoid coming in contact with people. And in this society, we can't avoid to just because they're not going to shut down the economy again. That's not going to happen. It just is what it is. And I think this is going to be something that, I think this is going to be something we're going to live through. So am I comfortable with him playing? Hell, I'm not comfortable with him leaving the house, but it is what it is.
Right. Okay.
All right.
But I think Kip made another point, the same point. I think the same point that we all four of us and we've been talking about in private ever since March, when it was like, are we gonna have a football season, was about money. We all know we dealing with. The point we were making earlier, we know we're dealing with, but it's not like we were saying earlier, it's not the greed of money, it's the fact of that college football money. It feeds so many different things. It feeds the schools. It's necessary, and they're gonna do everything they can to have it. If that means delaying the start of the season and having a shorter season, everything is on the table. The next 2 weeks, you're gonna hear some crazy stuff. Everything is on the table, bro. That's just where we are. And I think honestly, it makes for better content and better stuff for us, because it's like every day you hearing something different. You hear this, you hear that. It just doesn't matter what it is. We always gonna have something to talk about either way it go. But we appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Like, for real. Like, this is our first show as a LLC, but we have much, much, much more stuff coming. Be on the lookout for shows. Be on the lookout for possible websites. Be on the lookout for a lot of things that we're getting ready to do. And Tuck, you got anything you want to add about being an official company, sir? Anything
about what now?
Anything you want to add about us, about what we're gonna be doing going forward, or just you good? Or
just basically, like I said, y'all just stay tuned. We're gonna be adding some more exclusive content, and we're gonna get out there, man. We're gonna work. We're gonna try to, get this thing off and running. To the point of, hey, you be like, hey, what I want. I wonder what DSF said about this particular game, or we will bring insight, like you said, the fanalist part of it. We'll bring insight. We're gonna joke around because Dave gets on my damn nerves, but we're just gonna do that. And Ben drinks his applesauce.
What you gonna do about it?
We're gonna have fun, and we're going to be good in what we do. And that's all I got.
Dave? I just think that with us doing what we're doing, man, we're going to try to bring another element to all of this. I mean, anybody can sit around and just talk barbershop talk, but we're going to try to make it, a little bit more insightful for everybody, and also, just make it enjoyable for anybody. So right now, we're building, man, and we just need support from everybody. And man, we appreciate the listeners we do have, man. We appreciate it. And I don't want y'all to forget that.
No, our day ones, man. We have so many of them that I know that couldn't be on. Like them day ones, we're never gonna forget them, man. Like, and those are the ones that are gonna keep us and gonna continue to push us, man. Like, but like for real, just keep watching out, man. We got a lot of stuff that we really trying to do. So just keep your head up, and we might branch out to college. I mean, might branch out to high school. We definitely thinking about branching out to the HBCUs, having all that kind of stuff, rocking with us on our website. A lot of different things that we're looking to do, and we appreciate y'all for tuning in on this night, man, and just do all I can just keep supporting us, man. Keep telling somebody about us. We are different. You know what I'm saying? We do things differently, but in the end, all four of us love college football. We love football in general. We love everything about football. We just ain't on here to say, we don't like it. Oh, no, we don't want none of that BS talk. We just want to be real about everything that we do. So if y'all, like I said before, if you ain't hit the YouTube page up, if you ain't like us on Facebook or Twitter, please follow us, man, because we got a lot of stuff coming. We don't want nobody to miss out on anything. Ben?
NFL wise, man, if we definitely don't get on college season, Bernard, we need you. Everybody on the show got a team, man.
What the hell does that got to do with the price of what does that got to do with anything?
That got to do with the fact that if we don't have college football, the NFL gonna happen. Goodell ain't bullshit. The NFL is gonna happen, so we're gonna be discussing the NFL too, man.
First of all,
matter of fact, you might well choose.
I swear, you
choose the Redskins.
Am I lying?
Might as well. You gotta choose a team.
I mean, I'm just right now. You sound like DJ effect, whatever. That's what you sound like.
No, but I'm serious though.
But I'm saying, like right now, we understand what you're saying, but Bernard was going in a different direction as far as how
he pitched it to me after he should have asked me my thoughts before he went almost to the outro. So see, I had thoughts. You know what I'm saying?
If you don't put that damn cup down,
it got nothing to do with it.
It got everything to do with it.
It got nothing to do with it.
Cause we sitting there talking about what we about to do, and it's always that one. I don't care how many group of people you got, it's always that one. It's got to be different. All this positive momentum, and he just done kicked it to the curb. We done had NFL players on, we done had coaches on.
All I said was we're gonna talk about the NFL more. That's all I said. If we don't have no season,
I'm not gonna say nothing else. Tuck, go ahead, sir. I ain't gonna say nothing else.
I'm done.
Well, look. Anyway, man,
I'm done.
This replay will be up on YouTube. Probably come up in probably maybe next day or so, Tuck.
Yeah,
probably next day or so. Like I said, continue to rock with us, man, and just know we got all kind of stuff coming. And we're a little sad this week too because, yes, Kip, the drunk uncle. That's who he is.
My niece called me Uncle Bubba.
Right. We a little bit sad because we were supposed to be at SEC Media Days, and y'all already know what happened with that. But hey, that just means we're gonna be bigger and better next year when we get when with them credentials around our neck doing what we need to do. So, yeah, Kip, I'll work with that. Talk to your friend, the one that's related to me about that. But we appreciate y'all for tuning in with us tonight. I know we went a little bit longer than expected. But, we had two great guests with two great insights, man. And y'all just keep doing what y'all doing. And we're going to keep doing what we doing. And we out.
Peace.